Okay, so I'm in some mall parking lot in the middle of bumfuck Long Island, and you might know where that is actually. So shout out to Long Island homies, but I just got out of Joker, and I wanted to record thoughts immediately afterwards because there's one thought just running through my mind. I saw it, I liked it a lot. I loved Phoenix's acting, of course. I loved Robert De Niro too, funnily enough. Um, he played his role very well. Same with the Cullen guy, I think is his name. In I don't Thomas Wayne. Thomas Wayne did his part very well. An odd casting choice for Alfred. He's too thick, too chunky to be Alfred. Alfred is lean. Michael Caine is Alfred. And even if you're gonna make Alfred young, make him a leaner younger man, a fit young man. But either way, the good child actor for Bruce Wayne. But anyway, Joker thoughts on the whole thing. It was good. I liked it. And it was very, very, very well put together. The story highlighting Arthur Fleck, that's, Joker's real name, Arthur's mental illnesses, how it affects his perception of reality. I won't go into spoilers here. The whole socio-political situation in Gotham, how it leads into, the situation that Joker helps cultivate and all that. It was interesting, and it all came together coherently. There isn't a part that stood out to me like, oh, this didn't make sense or anything. And I've heard some criticism, well, I can't say some. I heard critical say that he thought Arthur locking himself in the fridge was a bit much, but I thought it was good. I guess that's a spoiler, but that doesn't really spoil much. He locks himself in a fridge for a couple of seconds. I thought it was funny, and coming off of the scene that immediately preceded it, I thought it was a good literal cool down, and it was good to transition into what was about to happen. But the whole thing, and maybe this is just me thinking this. Well, no, it's not. I've seen some tweets. I don't know who tweeted it, but some people have tweeted it out. Like that this whole movie was meant to be like not a psyop, but something just meant to get the right wing all riled up and to actually do something. Like this movie was made to cause a mass shooting or to cause some right wing terrorist organization to take in for inspiration from it. Like in short, and I don't disagree with those. It felt like I don't want to say a Fed post because it wasn't that bad, but in some parts it was, and it felt like bait. To put it simply, it felt like bait because it felt like the whole thing was sort of begging the question of, do people get what they deserve? Is there going to be a get what they deserve moment, or are you going to bring it about? And are you justified in doing whatever it takes to bring it about? Which is like, I don't know, but I don't want to take the bait. And some of it seems like, yeah, some of this rings true. We live in a society and so forth and so on. That's like abandon us or whatever. But, it's, you know, how much action in, putting into your own hands are you justified in taking? And is there good enough reason for it? I mean, there's some parts, especially in the beginning, where I thought it was very justified for the most part. And it was just, it progressively began to stretch the moral axiom from which it starts, which is like, this is kind of spoiled in the trailers, I guess. Well, God knows if I'll even upload this recording because this is done. I'm doing this on my phone, but so yeah. I mean, we all see it in the beginning. In the trailer, Joker gets beat up by the kids and by those dudes on the subway. But okay, this is a spoiler, so I'm not going to put timestamps to when to skip. But I'm going to spoil something in 3, 2, 1. Joker ends up defending himself with a pistol that he got, the one that we also see him use in other trailers, and killing those 3 dudes. And the city thinks it's murders. But, we know that, we the audience know, he was getting beat up on. And basically, it was self-defense for the most part. One dude, like, he shoots and wounds and tries to, like, get away, and Joker and Arthur ends up killing him anyway. But still, at that point, it's like, it's still arguably self-defense, and the dude's not mentally well. So it's like, at the beginning, you get that. But it really starts to go downhill, morally speaking, from there. It gets very, very mean. The more people he kind of takes it out on. Like, the long and short of it is he always takes it out on people who quote-unquote deserve it. And I don't disagree that the people he does get deserve what they get. But in what capacity do they deserve it? How much is too much? When does it go from being justified to excessive? I don't know. And that's why it feels like bait, because the movie has an answer for it. And the answer is, to some extent, it's subjective. Like comedy. And it kind of just, whatchamacallit, goes off on that a little bit. I saw a tweet. Who did? Stefan Molyneux, called it Nietzschean rage, and I don't like that term very much. I feel like Nietzschean is overused in the same way Lovecraftian or the Dark Souls of X is overused. But credit to Molyneux, perhaps there's some inkling of, the Joker is an Ubermensch and he's creating his own morality sort of thing, but I think that's a fucking stretch too. But there is something of, fuck what other people say, do it yourself, but in like a direction where, is it good for people? I don't know. I mean, it's a fuck society type thing. Fuck the society in which we live, which, that part of it I agree with, but then the other part of it is, you get to take it out on the people of your choosing, which is, that's where it's like, where does that end? Who of your choosing is actually, deserving of it? Who's been made worthy of it by their actions, and who hasn't been? I don't know. I feel like the movie thinks it knows, though. Todd Phillips thinks, I don't know, maybe Todd Phillips thinks he knows. I've seen the tweets about him, like, going off on woke culture and whatever. Not like this is in 2016. This is in 2015. We're past that, but I don't know. I don't think Todd Phillips or Joaquin Phoenix are in any particular way based. I mean, I don't know enough about either of them to say that conclusively, but I wouldn't get that impression from the movie, at least. But yeah, it's a question of logical conclusions. Where does it end? And the answer I think Joker gives is that it ends when you want it to end. And I don't know if I'm comfortable with that answer. And as much as I hate to say it, I kind of get what the journos are saying. But I also get why they're saying it. Because there's a lot of people who, if they said, it ends where I say it ends, I'd probably agree with them. And I'd say, it's good to have it end where you want it to end because I agree with you and I agree with our, foundational moral principles, so forth and so on. And so, yes, it should end there. But, how much where does it actually end? Is it really just up to us as people? And I know why the journos are saying this, because they don't want it to end where we want it to end. And so this is just a self-defense mechanism. If this movie was made for them, all sorts of praise would be sung for it. Like Joker, and it's funny because, they really want to paint, Joker as a type of resist type guy in this movie. And so, he could be, an Antifa type hero. But it's too late. This movie's already been sort of co-opted by the right, even though it didn't necessarily have to be if you go and see it. It's, interesting undertones there, and well, not even undertones, they're overtones. It's fucking throughout the movie you see people, about that type of thing. But it's all very, it didn't have to be the way that it's perceived. And because it is, journos are acting reflexively and saying, this is propaganda, this is going to turn violent, because they're afraid the violence is going to be turned on them, because they don't want us to say where it ends. They want them to say where it ends. And because this movie's given power to us, they don't like that. In short, I'll try to end it here, because it's already over 10 minutes, and I don't like that. But the movie is good for the wrong people, therefore the movie is wrong. But the movie doesn't have to be right for the wrong people. The movie could have been just as easily right for them. And perhaps on greater reflection, it will turn out that way. I can easily, I'll call this now, I'm not really wrapping this up, but the movie eventually down the line is going to get co-opted by the left. And really, I think the right's going to end up being somewhat embarrassed by the fact that they found this so, engaging, at least in some sense. Maybe not entirely, because there is still, like I said, good messages to be drawn from it, but they're going to feel embarrassed by it to some extent. Because this movie's good for us right now. It's good for us because we have the momentum and we have the framing of it. But the left has that way of remaking the framing. Cthulhu swims slowly, but he always swims left, I think is the Moldbug quote. And so, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on Joker. Good movie. Go see it. Definitely, absolutely go see it. Phoenix is excellent. But be suspicious of it. And have a long time frame in mind. And keep many, many different people in mind. Because it might be good for us now. It ain't going to stay that way because it can be good for anybody. And anybody is always the left. So, yeah. Bye. Have a good one.